Hey everyone, this is the Pop Culture Den with the Aurora Public Library. I'm Stacy, and this is my co-star Brandon.
Hi, everybody.
And Brandon, what are we talking about today?
All right. Well, today we are going to be talking about Sonic the Hedgehog, and more specifically, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. As you can see in there, as you can see, Jim Carrey's glorious stash as Dr. Robotnik. And we're going to be tackling it today from an interesting perspective of a longtime Sonic fan, the oldest of old school Sonic fans, which would be myself. Sonic was my first video game ever, Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis. And then you'll be telling it from kind of a you're still pretty you've been at the series for a while, right? The Sonic Adventure on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, but it's like longtime Sonic fan, but my knowledge consists only of Sonic Adventure from when I was a child. Not even
Okay,
Sonic Adventure 2, just like the first one.
so we'll say a very like kind of a surface level Sonic fan, and then to a die hard, as you can see here. So
But Sonic Adventure was the game that made me play video games, so it did impact me greatly, and I think of it as one of my favorite things.
so you know what? I think that's a we kind of talked about this before, Final Fantasy VII and other games, but I think that's one of the coolest things about games, movies, music is I personally don't think you need to know everything about a certain piece of media to call yourself a big fan. You don't have to know every piece of fiction, every piece of character trivia or anything like that. I think you can have brief interactions of something that had a deep impact on you, and I think that's just as significant. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, so let's. I think this video can go for a while now. We've had a few pop culture den videos now that have ranged from what I think like the lower end of 20 minutes to our Final Fantasy video that was near an hour. Um, so this one, I think it might be somewhere in between there because Sonic is such a long and beloved franchise. But getting into the movie, how can we start this topic without addressing the original horrifying humanoid hedgehog elephant in the room? And that was Sonic's original design. Tell me, what did you think of Sonic's original design?
I mean, I thought it was so so big. And I don't know how else to say it. The biggest change ever. I thought it was so big we were going to talk about it last. So I
No,
feel
so that so no, I think we have
it
to
was
open up
bad.
with that. It was pretty horrendous. Humanoid teeth. Um, the hands were all wrong. The eyes, uh, just really. When people first heard there was going to be a live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie with Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, people were already a little bit wary. And then you show that, and it became a lapping stock. And for people who might not be aware of what we're referencing here, if you somehow missed one of the biggest like movie, not a scandal or anything, but I guess just a piece of movie news that happened over the course of the last year and a half. When the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer first came out, Sonic had a design that was just incredibly terrible and looked nothing like the character we grew up and knew and loved. And it just got bashed. I think at the time it was like one of the most hated movie trailers of all time on YouTube. Like it had so many dislikes. I remember though you were actually kind of entertained by it, and I kind of do, kind of where it's kind of almost like a twisted sense of entertainment. Like, oh man, well maybe we'll just see how bad this movie is. It could be fun in that way because sometimes you can enjoy some good terrible media.
Yeah,
So bad it's good.
I was just gonna accept it. If that's what they gave me, I was gonna accept it how I could. If it was gonna be a horrifying, weird humanoid hedgehog, then boy, oh boy, that's what I was going in for.
Let's see how this adventure goes.
But it
So
was I much prefer this one that they came out with.
yes, and what happened was the and a lot of people still say there's some conspiracy about it, that this was their plan the whole time and they always had the other design ready to go and they just wanted to get some controversy to get some press. I think it was really a mistake. I think it was just out of touch corporate handling on a movie. And when they had that backlash, they went back to it. they pushed the movie back. I think it was only like a few months, and those, the people who work on the computer graphics there and the special effects, they just did a phenomenal job to get it done that quickly. To go back in for every frame and to have like the physics of the scene and everything make sense with the movie, that's an accomplishment right there.
Yeah, and I think that this movie, when it came out, I want to say it had like really big opening weekend just because so many people wanted to go support all the CGI special effects people who had to go back to work and then like completely redesign. So.
No, yeah, absolutely. And you can actually give some feedback on this a little bit. For a lot of the library videos you put up, you do editing sometimes for the videos you put together. How long does a 10-minute video take to edit?
Probably a couple of hours, depending on how much it needs to be edited.
Right, and obviously, you don't have access to millions of dollars of movie equipment and things like that. But still, let's just scale everything up. So you at that level had to take that long to do that. Imagine handling a large movie production. So technical stuff aside, controversy aside, let's get into it. So great that, movie opens up there in what appears to be, Sonic's homeworld. It looks a lot like Green Hill Zone, Emerald Hill Zone, somewhere from the games. You have the giant loops, the beautiful lush grass, and the waterfalls coming down. And the song Friends by Hyper Potions kicks in, which for people who catch the reference, that was actually the same song used for Sonic Mania, which was kind of considered the resurgence of Sonic, where it was a throwback to the classics, and it was the best reviewed Sonic game actually ever. It was better reviewed, I believe, than even the original ones. So it was really cool to see that they were paying attention to fans and like the source material, and they included kind of a neat little reference there. For me, I had goosebumps here. I was standing up on my skin and just seeing Sonic, baby Sonic at that, zooming through the world there. It was really cool to see come alive. What was that like for you?
Baby Sonic was so cute. But I mean, I definitely recognized it. I got chills even just like knowing Adventure and knowing the few other arcade game versions I have played. Like, it was really cool to see it. And Baby Sonic was really cute.
Who do you got on Baby Sonic, Baby Groot, or Baby Yoda?
Well, I've never seen The Mandalorian, so Baby Yoda I only know through memes.
That's honestly most people at this point.
And I've only ever seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 once. So, Baby Sonic.
Baby Sonic wins. It's Baby Sonic. I just have that bias towards Sonic. I love Sonic's design. And
he's so personable. He acts like such a kid.
Yes, he does. And this is not just Baby Sonic we're referencing here, by the way. We're referencing Sonic as a character as a whole. Throughout the whole movie, he's confident. He's got some swagger about him, which you want from Sonic. But what I like was they didn't take it too far, and he didn't get like too abrasive. In my opinion, he didn't become too abrasive, and he still had that kind of vulnerability. The orphan, as he said, being alone, and when you're the fastest thing alive, you outrun all your friends and family, so it's hard to really connect with anything. Yeah, he's like you said, he's personable. He's fun. You want him to be on the screen the whole movie.
How old is Sonic supposed to be? Like 10?
In the movie?
Yeah.
In the movie, I don't believe. Oh, I don't recall if they ever.
He reminds me of a 10-year-old.
I could get for me, I would say I get like a 15-year-old vibe.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I would say I get like a 15-year-old vibe. Purely just because of his numerous pop cultural references and his his familiarity when they're like in the bar later on in the movie and he gets in that fight and he's excited about the idea of a bar fight. He's like, "Oh, we're gonna have a bar fight." I don't know if a 10-year-old would understand that reference. I mean, I know he's a hedgehog from another dimension, but
I feel like 10-year-olds are really like 10-year-olds are into social media and pop culture now. Like that's like what they do. That's how they exist. maybe not at 10. Maybe I'd give it like 12 or 13. I think
Let's
15 is
ask.
too old because he's definitely not like interested like romantically in anybody, which makes me believe he hasn't hit like 14 or 15.
Let's ask the audience here for when they end up watching. Like, obviously, we're not doing this live, but this will get posted. For those watching right now who saw the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, what would you say was Sonic's age? How, if you had a ballpark, what would you guess Sonic's age was? And not at the beginning of the movie when he was a baby. That's baby Sonic. Just, throughout the most of the movie when it's Sonic the Hedgehog, what age do you think he is? I'll be curious to see the comments and see what people think. Your points are valid, though. The no romantic interest thing's valid. Amy will get introduced at some point, though, I would like to think. Amy's a pretty popular character.
But he isn't like, at least, okay, my knowledge of Sonic Adventure is that Amy comes up and she's like, Sonic, be my boyfriend. And he's like, girls, gross, ew. You're really annoying.
No,
I'm going to leave now. And then she follows him around. That's not a 15-year-old.
No, I don't think Sonic's going to be romantically interested in Amy. I just think Amy will be his romantic interest and will be that kind of same character trope. But I don't think that's coming in the next movie anyway. We'll say that for the end. What I think is coming for the next movie, we'll get there.
We'll just go to the end.
Yeah. Another thing, when we were talking about Sonic's personality, I think one great thing is I think one of the beginning parts that really show his kind side, which is important for a character. You want to be able to get behind them and root for them, and little acts of kindness can help you get there. I love the turtle. When he sees the turtle and he just, he feels bad, it's so slow, and he wants to show it some fun, so he picks it up. And the turtle's terrified, of course, but that's not Sonic's intention. And he drops it, and he just does whatever he can to get back there and grab it. And I thought that was nice. I mean, it was a sweet little moment. I think that made him a bit more likable.
It's the perfect blend of like cocky that he like came in and did a swagger and picked him up and then like ran him around, but also like vulnerable because he wanted to like he was like, you don't move fast and I want you to experience this fun thing with me. Like, that's cool.
Right. And it's just it's right there in the middle, and it does hit that perfect mix. And another big thing here, and you're gonna have to double check this for me if you have your computer over there.
Yeah.
Another thing, of course, you can't have the Sonic character there and all these personality traits without a good voice actor behind it. And the voice actor he played John Ralphio in Parks and Recreation, and I just can't get his name at the moment.
Right? I was thinking that I should search it before we started.
Oh, no, we're doing this on the fly. Like I said, we got this.
Because I always think John Ralphio, but I've never once. Ben Schwartz.
I feel it is Ben Schwartz. Okay, so Ben Schwartz, and he does a great job of putting that personality in there. I think my favorite Sonic of all time will always be Jaleel White, aka Steve Urkel, from the original two Sonic. What was that?
I said what?
Yeah, so Sonic the two most famous Sonic cartoons, the Adventure Sonic the Hedgehog, which was the one that was like really lively and bright colors, and then there was what was the other one? It was something like SATM. It was for like Sonic on Saturday morning, and it was the one where it had Sally Acorn and the Freedom Fighters, and they were more, I believe they were called the Freedom Fighters. It was just a more serious, kind of dark, grim, very serious series, and it did very well. It was a very well-received children's cartoon. It's great for adults. And Jaleel White, Steve Urkel, voiced Sonic in both of those iterations, and he was the Sonic the Hedgehog that a lot of people grew up with. So for me to find another Sonic that I thought still did a good job, that's pretty good, because I was pretty defensive over Jaleel White's original performance.
You didn't like Sonic Adventure Sonic, where he's like, what?
I do not like that Sonic. And every time they talk,
of all Dreamcast games.
And it's like the Godzilla movies with the bad dubbing, where the voice just doesn't match up with the what?
Yeah, it was
Tails.
Bad graphics or like good graphics, great graphics for the time.
For the time.
But like playing it now, it's so bad.
It's pretty hard. It's pretty hard. But no, those I thought that voice actor was fine in those games. I I just didn't make an impression on me. I was like, that's fine, but it didn't offend me. So it's just I really like Sonic in this movie, the voice acting job they did.
I thought he did
And
very good, especially because I'm gonna be that guy that I did not like Ryan Reynolds as Detective Pikachu because Pikachu is really small and cute, but had the voice of like a grown man, and Sonic the Hedgehog acted and was a child, and his voice actor managed to sound like a child. So I felt
see,
like
I can't.
I felt really connected to Sonic more than I did Pikachu.
Yes, and I think we both agreed. We discussed this before that we both enjoyed this movie more than Detective Pikachu. Um, and I think you know what? This is actually a really good transition point. Thank you for that perfect setup. I appreciate that.
Got you.
The one thing I think that this movie had as an advantage over Detective Pikachu, and it ended up making more money its opening weekend, by the way, which is cool. Uh, very proud of that. But one thing I think it also had an advantage of, besides the main character itself being kind of more what you were expecting from that character. And by the way, everybody, when we state these opinions, they are merely that. They are opinions. We are not matter of factly saying Sonic is better than Detective Pikachu. This is just our opinions. You are entitled to your opinion, and that's the beauty of discussing things like this. So anyway, what I think gave it the advantage was the human character. Um, the human characters in Sonic were more likable, more engaging personalities, and more fun than what we got in Detective Pikachu. Oh my goodness, he was so boring in Detective Pikachu. I just could not get behind him. He was just so like I know his serious situation was serious and everything, but it was too much, too self-serious.
It didn't go with the fun, cartoony video game Pokemon, which I think Sonic managed to do very well, of being like, we are a movie with live people, but with also an alien hedgehog. So it's goofy, kind of lighthearted. I think it's a very hard balance, and I think a lot of things struggle with that. Um, like the main thing I think of when I think of that is, not to change topics, but like Batman. Batman is very good, like the animated series, at being serious and cartoon. And a lot of the
Yes.
other Batmans are either like really serious, like Nolan's, or they're like Adam West campy 1960s, just
Pow,
wacky.
bam, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Sonic managed to be very in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, it was good. I had those sentimental moments, which was surprising, those heartfelt moments. One of them, which I'll get to at the end, and then it got to be silly, and again, because those human characters help find that balance, and who better to exemplify the greatest human character in the movie than our boy Jim Carrey, going full Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik. This was the most Jim Carrey has been since the days of Ace Ventura, Liar Liar, things like that. This was Jim Carrey at his carriest. Let me give you the floor here. Tell us your feelings about Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik at this movie.
I have so many feelings about Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, because when the Sonic movie was first announced and Jim Carrey was Dr. Robotnik, I was like, big chubby Dr. Robotnik, like Jim Carrey is gonna be all wacky and it's not gonna be fun. Like, because I haven't really been a Jim Carrey fan in a long time on his comedies, because it's just not really my style. So I got scared that it was gonna be kind of similar. And mind you, that's not counting Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, all like the classic movies that I love.
No, you mean as of
But,
late? Yeah, he went through a similar dry spell as Adam Sandler.
yeah. And there were like memes going around where like, sorry, I'm trying to think of what it is.
Carrying the weight of Jim Carrey just got back from back surgery from carrying the weight of the Sonic movie. That was when we had
Yeah,
trailers. That's when people thought Sonic was
yeah,
really
yeah.
bad.
That was before the character redesign, and we were like, oh, okay, not that bad. But he managed to just do so well. He made such a fun villain that I don't know how he did it, but there's like a scene where he's got the quill, and at the computer's like the computer's like analyzing it, and he's like puts on his headphones and has like a little dance routine.
Oh
And
yeah.
it doesn't feel out of place. Like it felt like a really natural transition, and it didn't feel out of character for the character, but it also didn't feel too wacky for the character, while also being considered like really wacky. I don't know how he did it.
Well,
A
it's Jim
plus.
Carrey. He just nailed it, and he's already said that he would like the work of sequels, which is amazing because Jim Carrey's actually not a big fan of sequels. He said this in previous interviews, and
Is he gonna do
yeah,
a
no, he wants,
sequel?
yeah, he definitely wants to be in the sequels.
That's crazy. He hasn't been in a sequel in so long. I didn't even
And
think of
Sonic is
that
what
as like
gets it
a
for him.
consequence.
Well, it's for his thing is he stopped. He said that he's just kind of tired of being self-serious of movies and he wants to just have fun with them again. And Sonic was definitely in that movie. And you needed that because, again, you have characters who are clearly living normal human lives and kind of going through like your basic rhythm of life. But still, this is a world where this crazy fast hedgehog and all these critters can come from. And, well, a character like Jim Carrey should be able to exist too, if that can exist. So it was, to me, it made logical consistency of the world. And, yeah, he was fantastic. A plus to him, and him and Sonic, especially when they go back and forth with each other, that was great. Everything I wanted. So we got over Sonic. We got over the characters. I don't think we need to devolve into the story itself much. It's your basic fish out of water tale. Don't know where I am. Need to get back to where I want to go, and I'll find my, the real adventure where the friends you made along the way, et cetera, et cetera. Good guy versus bad guy thing, So it goes through the typical beats of that. The story is not groundbreaking or anything like that. It follows your kind of typical story arc. Um, so I guess really what we could go into then is let's talk, and we're gonna end with the ending. So before that, then let's talk Easter eggs. Let's talk the love that they put in here for the Sonic franchise.
I feel like you picked up on a lot more than I did, because like I know of Sonic's love for chili dogs, like but I don't have like I don't have experience with that. Like I don't know where in the Sonic history that originated, because it wasn't in Sonic Adventure, but like when it came up I recognized it. So I feel like
Yeah,
you
see, and
picked up on a
that's
lot
good.
more than I did.
No, it's just that's still though a lot more than your casual audience is gonna think of. Most people don't know Sonic loves chili dogs. Um, so there was a lot. I already told you about the theme song at the beginning. Um, Another cool thing at the beginning there is when you have Baby Sonic and he's being chased by, what looks like a tribe. Um, that's actually Knuckles' race. That's the Echindas. I don't know if Knuckles was with them, but that was his people, and they're actually guardians of the Emeralds in the Sonic comics and some of the Sonic shows and the Sonic games too. A lot of the Sonic lore, Knuckles' Echinda race is usually protecting protecting the emeralds. And my mom used to affectionately call Knuckles Red Sonic because just like how every anime was Dragon Ball Z, every other character in Sonic was Sonic or the variation. Um,
That makes me
and that
so
was
happy. Knuckles was my favorite character as a kid, so
mine too. Knuckles was like the anti-hero. He could fly, he could glide, and he had, well, his
dude,
Knuckles. It was just cool design.
he was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
6-year-old me
And
was like, that's a bad kid. He's cool. Even though he like
you know,
didn't do anything and
those
that
are the characters that spoke to us as kids.
yeah.
So that was really cool. It was nice to hear different musical cues throughout the movie. The movie itself takes place in the beginning. It's called like Green Hill Valley or something, like it's very close to Green Hill Zone. Um, Sonic, like with the little dancing he does, it's similar to his dance he does when you pass a level. And the attacks, the moves, the sound effects, everything. It was just, you can tell that there was people on this team who made this movie who loved Sonic and like loved old school Sonic, and it was really really nice to see them kind of throw those nice little Easter eggs to the fans. The ending though is where we get our biggest Easter egg and setup for the sequel. And that takes place both at the end and then after in the middle of the credits. So first we have the end. Break down first what happens at the end there. Where
Go
they end
ahead.
up. Oh, you threw it to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you're gonna be better at explaining the end. You've built this up.
Okay.
I don't know where to start.
So, all right. So there's a couple theories on this. So, big spoilers: Sonic beats Robotnik. Robotnik gets sent to like this other dimension, and Sonic is happy with his friends, living with them in the human world. Pan the black. Then you cut to Dr. Robotnik. He is still alive, and he's in this universe that's like full of mushrooms. Like it's obviously like an alien world or alien dimension. And he has Sonic's quill, so he still has some kind of like pseudoscience magic power. And he is just in this land of all these mushrooms. And there's two main theories on what people think this is. And I personally think it's theory B. Theory A is that this was just a throwaway scene where people think it's Mushroom Kingdom from Super Mario Brothers, and this was their way of like throwing a reference to the Mario universe, and for them to want to build a shared video game universe like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. No, this is like a scene of Robotnik. Like they're not gonna. I don't. And the way they set it up, like it clearly seems like the movie's gonna go in that direction next. I don't think it's just a throwaway scene to reference Mario. What do you think on theory A there?
I mean, I have no other knowledge to back up what it could be besides Mushroom Kingdom. So my first thought was Mushroom Kingdom, but I don't believe it. But that was me knowing that I don't have all the knowledge of Sonic lore. I think that if it was a connection to the Mushroom Kingdom for Mario, I really hope that they don't redo Mario. Because, well, I don't know, maybe they would do it good, but like the last live action was really bad. So
and please anybody, if you're watching this, correct me if I'm wrong. But I know a Mario movie is being made by the same company that made Despicable Me, which is not the same company that made Sonic. So again, I don't see them going that route for another reason.
if I just had to clarify, if they're building a separate Mario movie not connected to Sonic, I don't have reservations about it. But if they try to fit Mario into an already half CGI, half humanoid world, and they try to fit in a little plumber man and either try to make him a man or a CGI, it's not going to fit. Like, this is...
No.
As a standalone, I don't mind Mario as a movie. As a tie-in, I think it would be really weird.
Yeah, completely agree with you on that. And just based on the studio and their movies they made, I don't think Mario is going to be real like humanoid. I mean, I think he'll be Mario in this movie, but he's going to be cartoony Mario. I don't think they're going to make him a human. I think it'll be an animated film, since it's the studio that made Despicable Me and all that.
Right.
I completely agree with you. If it's a standalone movie, that's cool. And on the other note too, the mushrooms and stuff that you see in that world, it just doesn't look anything like Mushroom Kingdom. Like Mushroom Kingdom doesn't have that aesthetic. Like the only commonality they have is that they're both mushrooms. Mushroom Kingdom is much more vibrant, like greens and bright reds and like blue skies. Where it was kind of a more darkish, almost wastelandy color, which brings me to what I think it is, which is theory B, which a lot of people brought up, is Mushroom Hill Zone. And I might be getting that name slightly wrong, but Mushroom Hill Zone is the first world in Sonic and Knuckles on the Sega Genesis, and it's like your Green Hill Zone of the Sonic and Knuckles game. And if the next game is going to, we've got to see Knuckles' tribe in this game. If they're hinting that, or in this movie, if they're hinting that Knuckles is going to be the next movie, it would make sense that they're in a part of, Knuckles' world. And the other big teaser then that this movie ends with after the credits is the huge one, and it is so cool. Who do we see? Who do we see in the middle of the credits? Who makes the reveal? Tell me.
Tails.
That's right. Miles per hour. Yes, that was a very pleasing moment. The great design. Everybody wants that for the next movie. You all want Sonic and Tails, and that means more of the fun, vibrant colors, which is always good. It shows that they're willing to expand their character base. And now that this movie made money, they can afford to do another computer character. And the voice actor, I believe I read this right, that's actually the same voice actor that was Tails in like the Sonic games. Like that is the voice actor for Tails. So I don't know if they're going to keep that for the sequel movie, but that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah, it makes
And
me happy.
yeah.
I was gonna say, you were talking about option, or not option, but like theory A about the mushroom green hill zone, and I looked it up, and it looks very dark and mushroomy. And if that's where they're hinting that Knuckles is, and now they're bringing in Sonic, it sounds like they might be going that way.
Cool, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate your validation.
I just like, now that I've like, I agree with you now that I've seen the pictures of like the mushroom green hill zone, and knowing that that's where Knuckles is, and knowing that Tails is coming in, it just makes sense that maybe he's gonna be like the next anti-villain, anti-hero,
Yeah, for people who
whatever
don't know what the
Knuckles is.
games, the original story of Knuckles is that Dr. Robotnik tricks Knuckles, telling him, hey, Sonic here is going to take the emeralds and use them for bad, which is never the case at all. And then Knuckles thinks Sonic is against him, and then Knuckles realizes, oh, wait, no, we're on the same side, and, they work together. The only argument people have used against that is that they think the movies are going to strictly follow, like, kind of the game formula, where Sonic the Hedgehog 2, like Sonic 1, there was no Tails. Sonic 2, Tails was introduced. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, which also had the lock-on game Sonic 3 and Knuckles, is where Knuckles introduced. But I don't think they're going to wait that long to bring Knuckles in. I think they want to kind of get their big cast in for the sequel, hype up Tails and Knuckles, because those are the three original big Sonic characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And then later you get like Shadow the Hedgehog, Amy, Big the Cat. You have the people from Knuckles Chaotix, Mighty. Oh, Victor, I think was the alligator's name. SBO, Charmy the Bee. There was the Sonic games blew up, and I think they're going to focus on your Robotnik, Tails, Knuckles, Sonic for the next movie, and I am all in if they do that.
I mean, it makes sense to me that if like the end of this movie was Sonic beating Eggman, then I feel like it would be lazy. Maybe not lazy, but it wouldn't be as fun to watch a sequel where the bad guy is Eggman again. Like,
I think
it'd be
Knuckles
nice.
could be a better antagonist right now.
Yeah, like Robotnik's beaten. Now he's got to like heal, take a breather, get back into it, and he's gonna use Knuckles to try to take him down, like Sonic. I don't know.
Yeah. Like it can be like the games, Knuckles is like fighting Sonic most of the movie. Then at the end, they realize they need to work together, and then make the inevitable third movie. And I think if they did a third movie, honestly, so it seems like they love the original games the most with what they reference in the series. But I think if they do a second one of Knuckles, I honestly do think that the third movie, they're either going to go one or two directions. They're either going to go the Metal Sonic route from Sonic CD, which they could then include Amy the Hedgehog possibly, because she's with that story. And that's like an evil Sonic counterpart. Or if they want to please another part of like a more modern part of the fan base, they could go Shadow the Hedgehog, which was a clone of Sonic. Only Shadow's like he's organic. He's not a robot. Like he's a hedgehog, just like Sonic. And I feel like it depends on how greedy the corporation gets. I feel like if they want to sell more toys, they'll do Shadow because Shadow is such a cool design.
What if they do? Hear me out. What if they do both? Because like we've already shown that there's multiple worlds, right?
Oh yeah.
What's not
I mean,
saying that Metal Sonic is in one and Shadow Sonic is in
Shadow
another?
Sonic.
Sound like your mom. All right.
We got Red Sonic, we got Shadow Sonic, we got Pink Girl Sonic, we got human big mustache Sonic.
So bad. But like if we've already been shown those different worlds, so maybe they're in like their own little different timelines, time area universes, and it could be both. That would be weird, but like Ninja Turtles does that a lot. They play a
No, they can
lot
do
with
it.
dimension bending, so wouldn't be a surprise to me because Ninja Turtles is my second love.
Yeah, I'm with you. You know what? They can do whatever the heck they want, really. As long as they keep using good voice actors for the computer animated characters, and they keep Jim Carrey as Robotnik, I'm in. I would like to see the movie take place purely in an alien world next time. Um, I think it'd be cool to leave the human element besides Jim Carrey and kind of focus on your computer cast and like go a little bit more animated with your movie. I know that might be a little more expensive, but I think it'd just be fun to go all the way out there. Go for it.
I will miss if they do that. I will miss James Marsden because James
He was
Marsden.
good. He was good.
He wasn't like the most exciting character. He was really funny, and him and Sonic, they just make sense together. Like they click.
Yeah.
And James Marsden has this smile, and every time he smiles, and I've thought this ever since he was Cyclops in X-Men, when he smiles, I'm just like, the whole movie lights up. Like I feel better because he's like there smiling. So I hope that they don't drop him. Like I think sometimes what I think mainly about Thor when they had Natalie Portman as a love interest, and I understand why she left. Like I totally get it. But then it was kind of a bummer just watching the other movies because they built up this love interest who then never came back, and I'd feel really bad if they built like this really good relationship with Sonic and James Marsden, and then just like took James Marsden out, and then
That's
just
true.
I want him to be, at least if he's not in the second one, I would like him to just stay a big character in the series,
Yeah,
even if he's not a priority in the second movie, that he like comes back and was like gets what he deserves being a main character and doesn't kind of just get pushed aside.
I can. First of all, let me say from a like meta standpoint. And how are we doing on time, by the way? Before I go into this rant.
I don't know. Was I supposed to be keeping
Okay,
track?
I wasn't sure if it shows a number.
No, we start probably like 30 minutes.
Okay, well the let's go meta. First of all, like from a meta standpoint, yes, I would like to see the actor get more movie time and everything because he deserves it. He did a good job. He was likable. That would be cool. Um, From a narrative standpoint, though, I will say I don't feel the need is there. Besides the fact they establish he has a friendship with Sonic now, and Sonic lives with him, because he has his happy ending. Like everything in his life is good, and he like found his self actualization. Um, they could go a route of the Planet of the Apes movies, the new ones, where the first movie you have Caesar and James Franco's character, and when you watch the sequel and the third one, Caesar's still there. James Franco's character is not there, and that's not spoiling anything about the fate of James Franco's character, by the way, in those movies. It's just for the narrative reason, Caesar's story carries on without him. And I thought that was interesting to see a character who was painted off as like the main character of the movie, and he's gone after the first movie. Um,
I
so
guess
they could go either way.
as long as they make it so like I don't know, it's believable that he's not there and doesn't just feel like like they didn't feel like including him anymore.
Yeah,
They
I
have
would
to
like
like,
like
give him
I
a
feel like
proper like Sonic should at least be like, oh, we're friends, not like
I
he's that person. Shia LaBeouf never. Oh wait, Megan Fox never existed in this movie. I never saw
right.
that Transformers, but
I think what would be cool is if they use them sparingly for the second movie. Let's say the second movie, you know, Sonic has to go to this other dimension, and like obviously he's a human, he has no equipment really. He can't keep up with Sonic and Tails, you know, doing their thing. So they're like, you know, he's in the beginning of the movie. He's like, okay, I know you got to go. I'll hold the home base down. Maybe he has like a side plot that he can do things, but you know, mostly it takes place in the other world. And then for the third movie, it comes back to the human world, takes place there again, and then he can be back in it in a more full capacity. I think that'd be a nice story arc.
I like that. That's what I would like, but also biasly going into Ninja Turtles, that's what Michael Bay did, where Megan Fox was very in the first one more so than the turtles were, and then when he came out with the second one, she was like she had like one
Barely
tiny
in the trailers.
yeah, I mean, and she had like one side quest because the turtles couldn't do it because they're not human, so she had to do something human, which was show her navel. That's a different topic. But I liked that they did that where they introduced this big main character who like sets the story off, and then they kind of like brought him back when they were needed, but they weren't needed as the main character anymore, but they weren't completely written out either.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it cheapens the character, the story arc when you have these characters who bond and then like they're just gone the next movie. It's like, oh, like that was one thing that annoyed me. You're mentioning the Transformers movies, and they are not masterpieces by any means or anything like that. And the Sam Witwicky, the Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox romance was also nothing huge. But it's kind of BS where they literally discover an alien race together and go through life and death like through like three movies, I think. Two movies. And then the third movie, oh yeah, we broke up, things just didn't work out. I was like, really? You all don't have a bond for life after discovering a new species together? Like, I feel like with the things they went through, there's no going back.
Right? And I understand that they had to get Megan Fox like out for behind the scenes reasons, or whether she needed to leave or whatever. I don't want to two sides of her story. It feels like cheating. It feels bad to the movie franchise, and it feels bad to the viewers who have just spent years watching it and loving this character. Or maybe not even loving it, but just like knowing that character, to then just write him off. Except like you can do that to like Jar Jar Binks. That's fine. Please.
Jar Jar.
There was already a movie franchise built before that character came in, so he was very easy to write out.
Yes. But don't do the James Marsden. His character deserves better. And I don't think they will. Like people responded well to him. And the movie was the biggest surprise hit. It was like the last movie that was in like the last big movie in theaters before COVID happened. It did very good at the box office. Yeah, yeah. It did great. It did great on the home sales as well. Good reviews. It didn't get like amazing reviews, but it got like good, solid ratings, which is more than anybody could have expected for a Sonic movie.
Any video game movie that gets solid reviews is like
right. And I was just very satisfied. Sonic, the franchise, has had amazing highs and very low lows. But I will always be near and dear to my heart. It's one of my favorite things, period. I will always have a extreme gratitude and love for Sonic. And for the movie, the first big budget Sonic movie to come out to do well, that's satisfying. It's been a good year. Final Fantasy VII Remake met my expectations, exceeded them. The Sonic movie was better than I thought it would be. I mean, that's all right. That's not bad. I mean, 2020 has been pretty otherwise, murder hornets and
where have they been?
But that's pretty cool. So I guess final thoughts then. Sonic movie. It's really fun if you have a lighthearted and sincere love for the Sonic franchise. If you're not if you don't go in overanalyzing everything, I think you're gonna have a good time with it. If you're a parent who wants to find a child-friendly movie that you can enjoy too, and it won't make you go crazy because it's so terrible, like an Emoji movie or something, it's going to fit the bill for you. And for a casual audience who just wants a fun movie that doesn't require you to think too much, like a good popcorn flick, it is that movie. Your thoughts?
I agree with everything that you said. I know that's a terrible answer, but like, I mean, as long as you don't go in thinking it's going to be a masterpiece, which honestly I go into movies with no expectations. I try to have very minimal expectations just in case. I don't want to get something hyped up and then have it be bad, but
right.
I don't know. It is good. It's just fun.
And that's
sort of an answer.
No, I think that's great. And that's a nice pin on it right there. It's just fun. And we watch movies, we read, we play games, we do these things to be entertained and to have a good time. And if you had fun, the movie did its job, I think. Not everything has to be a movie to make you change the way you think about life. Fun is good. Fun is needed. And I am grateful for the movie. So wow, I think we covered it pretty well. Covered a bit about Sonic franchise as a whole. I had a lot of fun talking about this. I still can't believe we get to do this. And apparently you all really responded well to our Final Fantasy video last time. Everybody who's watching, thank you for that, for supporting that. And you coming out and supporting these videos, liking them, sharing them, reacting to them, commenting, and just those view numbers going up, that enables us to continue to bring these kind of activities and programs to you. We want to fit every category. We want to take care of the kiddos, adults. We want to challenge you. We want to entertain you, and we want to discuss with you. So thank you for making that possible. Next time, I think you were saying you're going to take a break from the next video. You were saying you were thinking it might be an Animal Crossing video. Don't hold us to that, but Animal Crossing, you were saying, for summer?
I think we were thinking on Animal Crossing, since a lot of our coworkers have been playing it since COVID started.
And the world has been playing it.
Yeah, yeah. Let me clarify. The world has been playing it, except me, who doesn't have a Switch. The only reason I haven't played it. But yeah, I think the next one will be Animal Crossing.
Cool. Well, I think that'll be a really. I think that'll be a fun topic to go on to. Whatever we touch on, it'll be cool. But yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you to you, by the way, for making this Pop Culture Then video possible, for coming up with the idea, and putting this together. And your first one was Coffee Talk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for make this an option for your coworkers to be able to share their opinions on some things they're passionate on with our community, who clearly share that passion, which is, once again, very validating. So thank you all. That is very cool. I will let you sign off. This is your show. I'm just the one who knows about Sonic. That's why I ramble. But here, you sign us off. Take us away, Captain.
I feel so awkward on the spot. Why did you do that?
Because everyone gets to watch you be awkward. It's fun.
This is really fun. I'm also glad we get to do it. I hope that if you haven't seen the Sonic movie, I hope that you watch it and you enjoy it and you let us know what you think, because I am ready to talk about Sonic all day. Bye.
Bye.